Welcome to the SWIKE podcast, the only podcast that shares the stuff you didn't know you needed to know about jobs, careers, and life. The SWIKE podcast, the stuff I wish I knew earlier.
I want to take a little bit of time to go back to, let's say, that first moment. So you were probably on the plane over to Toronto, and you landed here. What are the first couple of things that you had to do in order to kind of get settled? How early did you come? Like, would you have come earlier or later or whatever? Obviously, some of that is in respect to like permits and study permits and all that sort of stuff. But for someone who is kind of just arriving here or going to arrive here soon. Obviously, right now with the whole COVID situation, a lot of people aren't traveling, but in anticipation for them being able to come internationally, like what are some of the things that you would encourage folks to start thinking about? And it could be something as simple as like opening up a bank account or finding a place to stay or whatever. What are some of the things that you considered and you found a little bit stressful or helpful in the whole process?
I feel like the three main things to do for any international student should be first, to go and get a phone number. The next would be to go and get your SIN number, followed by opening up a bank account which requires both the previous details. I felt like I could manage to do these quite well since I was guided by my university representatives.
And did you find it hard to do things like open up a bank account or even find that place that was there? Like what were some of the helpful things for that? Because oftentimes it's that first part about like getting to a new country and everything is new, right? And some of the little things that you take for granted are not there. Are there any things that you would suggest for folks to start considering, or I don't know if they're even able to prepare that before they land, or some of it like, no, you have to really wait until you are here until you to explore that areas. Are there things that you would suggest and provide to other folks in that regard?
Honestly, opening up a bank account wasn't a big task, but one needs to be sure to have their account in a closer radius from where they live, since it would be more accessible. I didn't have to find a house for myself since I was living on campus at a university, and they highly recommend you to stay on the campus in your first year. I was in a shared apartment where 6 of us lived together. There was a random selection of roommates, so I was paired up with a person who I'd never met or even knew of. It was a nightmare for me thinking about sharing a room with someone else initially, although as a few weeks passed by, we both got quite friendly and adapted well to each other's habits, and in the end it was amazing.
To just confirm on like kind of the living conditions. So you were on campus in the dorm, and there's 6 people to a house, but you shared a room. So I guess each there are 3 rooms, and each room was shared by 2 people. Is that kind of how it worked?
Nope, so actually there are 4 rooms, out of which 2 rooms are on single occupancy and the other 2 rooms are shared. Although I had put in a request to go for a single room, due to the high demand for the student housing that year, they had converted many single rooms into double rooms to accommodate everyone.
And would you prefer that experience? So if you could go back and say, you know what, I really appreciated the fact that I had a shared room versus, you know what, I really would have wanted that independence on my own just to help ease myself in.
Actually, both of them have their own pros and cons, but I'm really grateful for the way things went, since living with another person makes you both compromise a little, and I feel like the level of maturity and understanding also develops. It also forced me to think from the perspective of the other person, which is a great quality to have. Moreover, I feel like people who have always stayed in a single room cannot adapt to a shared room, while a person who's lived in a shared room can live in both types of rooms.
When they charge for dorms and stuff, do they charge like international rates too, or because I know tuition is more expensive?
Yeah, like tuition is 3 or 4 times more for international students. The on campus rates are the same for everyone, although it is frightfully expensive considering the rooms are quite small. If you're willing to find a place which is in the radius of a 10-minute walk, then I feel it isn't difficult to find a room for half the cost.
Thanks for joining us on the SWIKE Stuff I Wish I Knew Earlier, the podcast. If you like the podcast, please subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found this podcast. And if you can give us a review, that would be very appreciated. Feel free to contact me on LinkedIn at Lukidanu, Lukidanu, and the same on most social media platforms. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Bye.